Hey guys, Steven Martinez with The American Dream. I just want to say a big thanks to all our supporters and fans. It's because of you guys that we're able to keep growing. Having said that, please don't forget to follow and subscribe. It means a lot to us. That's what helps us keep growing. And also, I hope you guys enjoy the next episode. Hey guys, welcome back here with another special guest, my boy Ron, Kingdom Christmas Lights.
Yes.
Long time, man. It's long overdue. We should have had that. It sure comes on everything.
Yeah, no, just ripping right out of this like Hulk Hogan, rest in peace.
Yeah, that was like a week ago, a few days ago? He passed away?
It was, I think growing up, I didn't have the G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip.
Yeah.
Like some of the rich kids had, but I did have the Hulk Hogan and I had the Randy Macho Man Savage.
Nice.
Back in the day, so.
Let's talk about you, man. Let's talk about you. No more Hulk Hogan. You do something very specifically unique, and you're the best at it. Christmas lights installations. Tell me a little bit about your story and how you got into that in the first place.
Well, I mean, I think it's I love Christmas lights. My father, he was like Santa Claus. And so, when you're a kid, you don't really realize this, but my dad would dress up as Santa Claus, and he would take his Harley Davidson motorcycle. I'm not even on the motorcycle. He's riding by himself with his Santa Claus suit, and he would knock on people's doors and stuff and pass out candy to kids and stuff. This is when I was a young kid.
Oh, wow.
And my parents, to be perfectly honest, I think they believe in Santa Claus more than any kind of religion or anything, especially at the time. So I grew up in the Christmas spirit, and Santa Claus was such a big thing. So it really didn't resonate with me until I got a little older, and that passion turned into a business.
Uh-huh.
So it started off with roofing. If you're doing, roofing, you're a roofer now.
Yeah.
iSmart Roofing?
iSmart Roofing, man.
So when you're roofing and you have all these roofers, you're not really roofing in the winter time. So it's what are you going to do to keep these guys busy? And it was well, how about we install Christmas lights? That started in 2012, and we did about 120, but you're fumbling through it. The passion that you have and the love that you have deteriorates because you're making all these mistakes, and it's financially, eating at you, and all these people who are happy or not happy with you because you're learning through the beginning stages. But I think the ups and downs and growing and then falling on your face and then you're failing your way through success. Success is found on top of a mountain of failure. I've found the mountain of failure, and I finally got on top of it. I met my beautiful wife, Laura, and that's when my life really changed in 2018. First time in Houston, Texas, we started over something that I knew how to do, is Kingdom Christmas Lights. And then from there, we made our first $1 million 4 years later. And then we've been doing that ever since. And now we have a commercial property and we're chasing our dreams, but it all started with Christmas lights. And I think quite literally, it saved my life in many ways, but it changed our life. And it does that each and every season. Did you know if you really take your life seriously for the next 3 months, if you just put away the video games and all that bullshit and whatever you think is important and your Netflix and all that stuff, if you just put all that stuff away for just 3 months, you can literally change your life. And that's how short the season is, and that's what kind of an impact you can have if you take it seriously.
So before you had the Christmas lights installation company, you had the roofing company. How did you get into the roofing company? And how long did you have the company for?
That one was kind of a touch and go story. It was really door knocking.
Okay.
It was really the art of sales and the psychology of sales and knocking doors, and you just become good at knocking doors. So if you're good at it, you teach someone how to do it. And then if you teach someone how to do it, you run a small team. And you run a small team, then you're running a team of people running small teams. And then you're like this big person. I worked at AT&T. I was a branch manager, and I was in charge of a door knocking corporate. And we had 30 employees that were door knockers, and I was running it, selling AT&T. And then from there, it was why don't you start selling roofing? And that turned into
Who told you that, though? That's super random.
Just door knocking.
Okay, you started to kind of see it.
Door knocking.
Okay.
I think a lot of people don't get into roofing because they're on a check-to-check mentality, and the roofing check doesn't come for about a month after the sale or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, for insurance.
And most people say, I'd love to get into roofing, but I can't go 4 weeks without getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
And so I was luckily in a situation at the time. That's how I got into roofing, knocking doors. And then once you start seeing how much money every roof is and how much money a fence project costs, you're like, I should start my own business. This is big money. I shouldn't be making $200 a sale selling AT&T, I should be making $2,000 a sale selling roofs, and things like that as a salesman. So that's where the light bulb went off, if you will, for roofing.
And then that transition from being in sales to an actual business owner, obviously more complicated. How was that?
The transition's easy. It's like $16 and you have a DBA and you're a business owner, and then the $50 to start a bank account, and then all of a sudden you have a DBA and a bank account, and now you're a business owner. And a little logo and a website, but it's more to it than that.
Of course.
Because you don't know what you're doing. You make a bunch of mistakes. There's a lot of liability, and most people, they make it, past maybe 1 or 2 months of running your own business, and then you just. I like the comfort and security of having a paycheck. Some people don't have a choice but to do their own business, and that's kind of the situation that I was in. But starting your own business, it was interesting. It was cool making a lot of money like that and everything. But to say that I knew how to estimate, commercial projects and residential projects, I didn't. To say that I knew what I was doing, I didn't. I mean, to say that I fell on my face hard many times, I did. And those are the learning experiences that you get battle tested by fire. And believe me, I went down through hell and went through the fiery gates myself before I could actually figure out, don't do that. This works right here, that right there, don't ever do that again. And that's kind of I think everyone's life story, but mine for sure.
And then as you were doing the roofing, what made you see kind of like a golden opportunity there with the Christmas light installation?
Well, Christmas lights, that's an interesting question. Christmas lights, the opportunity is that you can be busy and you can actually do something you love doing. Roofing, do people love doing roofing? I think they love the money.
Yeah. I
think you love helping people out. There's always a story that someone can't afford the roof and you were able to put a package together to help some person out that they couldn't have got the roof just between them and the insurance company. You actually step in like a legal professional that says, no, I'm going to get the insurance company to make sure they take care of you. There is a reward with that, but nothing like Christmas lights. The stories that you hear when it's their last Christmas, or they got family coming in, or they haven't seen their son and he's been off at war and he's coming back and things like that. Those stories, they're real tear jerkers, and it really just becomes you become part of your client's Christmas traditions and stuff like that, and it's really opened up doors that I never thought was possible.
So how was the first year of starting the Christmas light installation company?
It was awesome. It was awesome. The worst part is when it ends. When it's over with, you're like, so everybody's like, so what are we doing now? You're like, I don't know. I guess we're going to go back to knocking doors for roofing, I guess. I mean, maybe we can sell these clients roofing, or maybe we can get into the fencing business, because me personally, I'm not a roofer. And if you see me up on a steep roof, take a picture, because it doesn't happen. Fencing. I learned how to do fencing, and then when we started back in Houston, I built fences. I must have built 100 fences or 120 fences a year myself, personally. But those are kind of the fencing business. The reason why we got out of it is, one, because I'm fat and out of shape, and working out in the Texas heat is a lot. But another reason is because it's hard to hire somebody on that skilled labor to do those gates and to do that fence perfect, and the materials are so expensive. If you say, you know how to do it?
Yeah.
You know how to do it? Okay, all right, well, here's the materials, and then here's what we want, and then you mess it up. Those are like $6,000, $7,000 mistakes, because you can't like repurpose what you messed up. So I end up having to do like every damn thing myself, and that was the downfall, I think, with fencing. But it did catapult me to the point I could buy a commercial property. But as soon as we got the property, we quit day one.
So with the installation light company, as you're growing it, how do you dominate a space like that? It's a very unique space.
For what?
The Christmas light installation.
Dominating the market, I don't know that anyone can dominate the Houston market. The Houston market's probably one of the biggest markets in the planet, probably, for Christmas lights, between Florida and Houston and DFW. I would say there's probably about 2 million people that have Christmas lights on their house in Houston. And what are you going to do, 500? You're going to do 1,000? So the only way to really dominate the market is you can only do what you can do. So it's just you get your select choice, your select cut of all the leads coming in. I want the big jobs. I want the $100,000 jobs, and let everyone else have the $300 to $500 grandma's house. Even though we started that, those. And then I figured maybe I can't install everyone, but I can sell the materials. So ChristmasContractor.com, we sell materials. So I do about 5,000 properties a season through all the contractors that buy from us. But you can only personally do about 500-600 personally. Big commercial properties and stuff.
How are you able to get in touch with those type of people, for people that are looking to land those big jobs? Not even just in general.
I think it's once you like right now you're on this right here. You say, how do you get in touch with someone doing this? It's like once everyone knows that you're doing, or a few people know, it's like a gravitational pull. It all comes to you. The one big HOA, they know someone that runs 6 other HOAs, and they know someone who also runs 6 or 7. So you get into that space and you get into that room and you do a good job on this one, it turns into 10. It just keeps multiplying as long as you keep your values and quality in the right place. And that's how it catapulted for us in a big way.
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, what gave you that mindset to be an entrepreneur? Why not just do the 9 to 5?
Is it a personality?
I think so.
Is it a personality?
I would say so.
If you ask my wife, she'll tell you I have a problem with authority. And I do. To be quite honestly, I don't think I'm, a corporate America type of person, even though I run a corporate America type of, business now. But to be perfectly frank, I've been fired from every company I've ever worked for because, as a alpha male, as you are, you step into a situation, there's 2 types of leaders. There's a natural born leader and there's a situational leader. A natural born leader, it's just natural for you to step into a situation and lead, where a situational leader, you need to be told when is your moment to lead. And a natural born leader, you need to learn when not to lead, when it's appropriate not to lead. And that's something that I learned the hard way, because you go into a sales business or you go into a company and you're like, no, we should do it this way, we should do it this way. And someone's like, get this guy out of here, he's fired. And I feel like, me telling the story, I feel like it was me. Is just, I feel like I'm a natural born leader, and working for a company just never worked out. So that you resort to, you have to be an entrepreneur with your mindset. And once you do it, there's no way to go back to work for someone else, in my opinion. Once you taste it, there's just no way to go back.
So once you have that mindset, you have that personality trait that makes you want to just be an entrepreneur, do it your way. And as you're creating this ecosystem under Kingdom Christmas Lights, how are you able to retent and create that ideal company culture?
It doesn't happen because you set up some business meeting with your friends and then all of a sudden you got the great culture. It's years and years and years of track record. I would say probably the most important thing is do what you say you're going to do. If I tell you, hey, we're going to pay this money and for gas benefits or something, do it. If I say I'm going to be here at 12:30 for this interview, show up at 12 o'clock. Whenever you say you're going to do something, always do it, and then you have a track record of you always say you're going to do what you're going to do, and that is the company culture. It starts with you. Whenever there's problems with the company, it always starts from the top, regardless. It always starts from the top and goes downhill. If it's a bad company culture, it's your fault if you're at the top. So do what you say you're going to do is probably how simple it is, and then years and years of track record doing that.
I know you mentioned as you were speaking just now how there were some moments in your life that were pretty down, and then you're able to kind of bounce back up. You don't have to go into too much detail, but if you want to share just some of those key moments where I feel like a lot of people in general, whether it's business or life, we all hit those rock bottom moments, kind of what it was and how you were able to come out of that.
Falling on your face could be like being alive at your own funeral, and just watching all the stuff that you thought was important. The Chamber of Commerce and all these connections and all these friends and all these people who support you. Politics is, one day you're in and then the other day you're out. And then when you fall on your face, you realize that when everyone turns their back on you, yeah, he was my friend. Oh yeah, he did what? Oh shoot, we're not talking to Steven anymore. And then you're that guy, and then you see the nucleus of people who they cut with you forever. Your wife, your girlfriend, your parents, your really, really close friends that cut with you no matter what. That's what you realize, that's important. You spend your whole life thinking all this other stuff is important. It's not. And those situations show that. It's you need to build on a firm foundation, and a firm foundation in Christ is what you should strive for. But regardless of that, build on a firm foundation. That way, no matter what kind of storms in life, that you can't be shaken. And the most important decision you make is the person that you do life with, your wife or your spouse. And that was like, I need to refocus my foundation. And then once you start that, then that's what I learned through the pitfalls of life.
Through those pitfalls of life in the business aspect, have you ever also been like financially in debt or?
Oh, shit, of course. Yeah. Well, most billionaires have lost everything multiple times. But yeah, I mean, sure. Just to give you one example, in 2018, when I finally made it to Houston, like born again, naked, born again in Houston. I mean, it was like you owe anybody and everybody everything. I mean, when you fall on your face, and then anyone who has child support and you're behind, I mean, that stuff adds and multiplies, so like $65,000, and we're charging you $2,200 a month on child support, and I don't care what your situation was. And then you're like, this person in the bank's like, we done wrote 2 bad checks, and you done did this, and then you're just like, when you're at that situation in life, because I've been there, like homeless. I was damn near homeless in 2018, living on someone's couch. How do you get from that point? How do you come up from there? You don't have a car, and you don't have a cell phone, you don't have a laptop. How do you come up from there? Like, what's the first step? And the first step is a firm foundation, and then you just bite-sized pieces like David Goggin. You first in your mind have to believe it's possible. Only then and only then will your mind start to break down tactically how to do it. So when I met my wife, I was like, look, I know my life is messed up. I know I don't have shit going on, but I do have a plan, and let me show you this plan. And I had three pieces of paper that said, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do in the next 5 years, and I'm going to start this business, and I'm going to start this ministry, and I'm going to start this right here, and then we're going to move here and this and this. And she's living with her mom going through a situation. I'm like practically homeless, borrowing someone's vehicle to go knock doors and do pressure washing when I first moved to Houston. And then it was like, that's where it started, bro. And how we got to $1 million in a couple of years, that's a God thing, bro.
For sure.
That's a God thing, period.
Yeah, I love that answer.
Yeah, but that's how it started.
How important was having that support system with your partner / wife in that specific moment? Do you feel like you'd be here where you are now if it wasn't for her?
No way. No chance. And neither would she. That is like the core fundamental. Because if I gave you $10,000 today, what would you do with it? And it's a mindset. Are you thinking the future and you're going to invest it, or you're going to do something with it? Or most people would say, well, shit, let's go to Vegas. Or 10 grand, I was really looking for these rims on my truck, and these kind of things. They're just a complete waste of money. But if it's important to you, it's not. So at the time, just any kind of blessing, it was like any kind of thing that happened was like, oh, what a blessing of something that we never had. And that's how it started. To be honest with you, I couldn't even afford a laptop. Well, I didn't have a laptop at the time. And my wife, who had a $400 Best Buy gift card.
Nice.
She said, sometimes I'll buy a few things on this, and I wait till my tax returns, and then when they give me the money, I can pay it off. And you're saying that if you only had a laptop, you think you can start this business? If I just, it won't be a nice one, but if I just get you some kind of laptop, do you think maybe that would be enough that you can get the business started and we can chase this dream you talked about? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I really do. And I sat there in her mom's bedroom, not her mom's bedroom, her mom's house in our bedroom. Sorry, Ma. Anyway, we sat there in the house, just in this one little bedroom in the house, and I just sat there, and she was working at some place. She eventually quit and worked with me. And I just sat there and just started Kingdom Christmas Lights right there, right, and that's where it started. That was like year 1 in 2018, and how it got from there to here, I'm telling you, just God thing. But it's amazing.
What's the projection or the 5-year plan now with Kingdom Christmas Lights?
That's scary, man. That's scary. You have the carrot in front of you, and you're chasing it so long, and then you finally get it. It feels like you arrived. It's like I got it. Like I'm in the American Dream studio. You know what I'm saying? I'm with Steven Martinez over here. I'm like, this is the pinnacle of I've arrived. I don't need to accomplish anything else.
I think the pinnacle is getting to heaven. meeting God?
Well, I'm just talking about the short-term things.
Yeah,
like 5 years ago, I'd love to be in the situation I'm in now, and now I'm living it. Like, cool, great.
Yeah.
But the struggle is, okay, you've accomplished your 5-year plan. I mean, that's a milestone, but that's not the end game. What is your next 5-year plan? And that's something that Laura and I, we've been really struggling to hear what God thinks, because I know what I think my plan should be, but, what does he think our plan should be for the next 5 years? What is his plan for our life?
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been struggling to really hear, because you get busy.
Yeah.
You get real busy, and you get kind of lost where you're like, get busy listening. What is this still small voice that's telling you this is the direction you're supposed to go? It's harder to hear it when you are closer to the top of the mountain. It's easy to hear it in the valley.
Yeah.
But dog, once you get up there, it's hard to hear what is the next step. So I've been trying. I haven't been as successful as I should be, but between her and I, we're listening to find out. But I don't know. It's a great question. What is the next 5-year plan? Great question, but that's something that we really need to figure out.
Have you guys done the ministry already stuff? I know you mentioned something about ministry.
My ministry was to help people start their own business.
Okay.
I really felt like if you look at the young men in the world, and you look at some of the troubles, whether it's incarceration or it's they wind up into addiction, or they just someone just never slapped the shit out of them when they were younger. I mean, just parents never taught them something.
Yeah.
But a lot of these kids, they all have the same thing, and they all have a similar thing that's happened to them. Is there was a man at some point that never took their place in that kid's life.
Uh-huh.
That young boy never had a man that took their place in their life, so no one ever taught them, and they end up raising themselves, or they seen not just something good, they seen the worst things. And those young men, I just felt like if I could help more men take their place in life, it would be better than helping the kids, is helping the man take their place in life. So it was, there's more than just Sunday. There's more than a Sunday service where you can scale tall buildings with a single bound. There's also a Monday, and there's a Tuesday, and there's a Wednesday. So it's like, where do you work, and how do you actually take your place? So I thought about that a lot. I thought business creation and having a kingdom business, Kingdom Christmas Lights, Kingdom Roof and Fence, Why Kingdom Ministries, or ChristmasContractor.com. It's really just pouring into these young men, and a lot of them are doing very well. Wow. But pouring into these young men, helping them not, financially and in other ways take their place in their family. That's where my heart's at, and that's where our heart's at.
I think you got your answer just now to your question a while ago.
Well, what does the next 5 years look like? Because we already got that. But how do you take it to a whole nother level that you don't see right now? That's the mindset, right? You see it in your mind, but your eyes don't see it, so you keep on doing those things until your eyes see what your mind has already seen. What is 5 years? What do you see in the next 5 years? It's like, good question. But we're looking for it. We're going to go to the Bahamas. We're going to search for answers next week.
Nice.
No, we are. We're going for 8 days.
So I know you mentioned like leadership and someone, being able to guide a young man in your trajectory of your life. Did you ever have a mentor, anyone like that kind of guided you?
My dad.
Okay.
Oh, dude. I didn't realize how lucky I was until I seen other people's dads, or lack thereof. My dad was probably the greatest example of what a real man looks like.
Awesome.
I remember a story, like when I was younger, he was alcoholic. And my pop, people drink and they have fun, pool party and all that kind of shit. So you're at a pool party, and then they're all drinking and smoking and, doing things that people did back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And then my dad lost his license. He got a DUI and lost his license. He lost his job being a milkman, driving his truck.
Oh, wow.
And then he's like, it was like the music stopped. Friends stopped coming over. No more pool parties. He's in, was it the Alcoholic Anonymous or whatever?
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, I'll never make that mistake again in my life. He quit drinking and never drank again until he was 50. He was working 3 jobs. He was walking to the gas station, working as many hours as they had let him. He'd walk to the grocery store and work there. And he even worked at a printing press. And he was just walking to those jobs for the 6 months his license was suspended. And as a kid, and no more drinking, no more hanging out with friends to do that. I'm changing my life completely. And just being a kid in a family and watching that was like the greatest example of what a man looks like, in my opinion. Pops, but he's a hard worker, man. He's one of those, you work 60 hours a week, and I missed all your games, and I missed all your stuff, but my job is to, provide for the family, and maybe I have some of that, that I do, practice on my own, Nowadays, they'll say, family's the most important thing, son.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the way I was raised. It was working and making money was the most important thing, growing up. But
so do you think as an entrepreneur there's like a life balance? Is that a such thing as that?
Depends on what business you're in. If you're in a 9-to-5, of course, you got to have balance. If you're in
as an entrepreneur,
52 weeks, well, for us it's different. My life is completely Christmas lights. So there is no balance. There's no such thing. It's from October 1st to December 15th. It's 18-hour days. There is no family balance. Zero. Then work slows down, and you can kind of pick up the pieces and have a 2 weeks that it's your turn for Christmas. You take the lights down in January till February 1st in Houston, and then I don't have to do anything for 4 months. That is the balance. But there is no work balance for us. But for a normal entrepreneur, I think you have to shut off massive areas of your life. There's no way you're going to be successful and put parameters on yourself that you have to be off work at 5 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
Not when you're starting, it's not going to work like that. It's like being at war. You're not sitting there like the bullets are flying at you and you're like, what time are we stop shooting at each other? 6:30?
Yeah.
And what's for dinner? This is not a thing.
Yeah.
You're in war.
Yeah.
You're fighting for the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And then if you want to wave that white flag at 5 o'clock, the enemy is not stopping. That devil's doing push-ups waiting for your ass.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what life is like. So, a healthy balance, I don't believe in that. But once you get to a certain part, that is success, is to get to where you're going and then also have the healthy balance. But I don't think entrepreneurship, focusing on a healthy balance, is really that important at the beginning because there's no such thing.
And as you're creating that and you're creating that foundation, how important was having God in the foundation for you?
Oh, dude, it was the cornerstone. For me, it feels weird talking about it because you ever go to the beach?
Yeah.
And then I'm a type of person. I come from the Washington D.C. area, so I'm always skeptical of people's intentions, and I always look at people. I give them the benefit of the doubt and whatever, but you always got the eye like if you try to pull a fast one, I didn't see that shit before. But you go to the beach, and you got your little chairs and your cooler and your umbrella, and you're having a good time. And then you say, let's go out in the water, and we'll play. And then you're out you've been to the ocean, right? Out in the water.
Yeah.
So you're out in the ocean and stuff, and you're playing, you're riding the waves, and all of a sudden you look and you're like, whoa, shit, where's my chair? Someone done ran off with my cooler and my chair. And then you're like, what? And then it's just that moment that you realize you drifted. You're not realizing it, but you thought you were sitting still, and you thought this is where you're at, but just there was a moment of realization. You drifted from where you thought you were, and that's kind of my story from where I started. You turn up and look, you've been running business, and then you realize you've drifted from where you started. The beginning of it was definitely Christ at the center, and then now I would say I find myself drifting, but we're constantly trying to re-anchor ourselves back down. And luckily, I have my wife, who is I'm supposed to be the leader when it comes to that, but she definitely does point me in the right direction and say, Ron, you know what? This is the guy that you're supposed to be. This is the direction you're supposed to be going. But you're the leader. I'm gonna let you say it, but I'm waiting. Go ahead. Okay, we're going to church today. Okay, let's go. So
I think that's the same thing with me and my partner. I think we complement each other in a lot of beautiful ways, and I think her foundation with Christ is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in anyone, and it definitely sparks an amazing compatibility, right? Where she can complement me, and she's actually guided me towards Christ much more when I was kind of drifting away from the shore. She's like the lifeguard, like,
it's
hey,
easy.
it's this way.
Yeah, you're like, no one stole your stuff, sir. It's over there.
Yeah.
You just wasn't paying attention. You drifted.
So how important, I think, and this is, I think, a cool topic because I'm a firm believer in money's an extension of who you are. I think at the core end of it, as a business owner, the foundations are upon the person's moral values. But as a Christian entrepreneur, getting money for the first time, whether they're young, obviously money has a lot of influence in different ways. what would you recommend or advise to a Christian entrepreneur that wants to scale his business, do everything the right way, and stay grounded?
I don't know about the Christian entrepreneur, because everyone's on the level playing field when it comes to being in business. Is a dog eat dog, shark kind of business.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're the type of person that you're yielding the right of way for everyone on the interstate, you're never going to get there because you're too nice. You have to understand that this is a nonprofit. This is a for-profit business. So you need to, whatever you have to take off one hat and put on another one. I know you're nice, and I know you're a very nice person, and you want to give things to people and stuff like that. Do that on your nonprofit. If that's your heart, do that nonprofit and do that, or your outreach, but that's not your business. Your business is for profit, and you need to be thinking about that all the time. And so it's not really how to be nicer and be more compassionate, because most of you are a Christian business owner and you identify with that. You already got that part down. It's like, now we need to rough you up a little bit and show you what real business is, because that person who stole your yard sign, he doesn't care about your Christian business. That guy that is deleting your post or saying, I wouldn't do business with so-and-so, those people don't care about you. You need to jump in that game, and you need to fight that fight with everyone else and learn how to do that. But having a heart, that there's some lines that you're not going to cross, having compassion. But as far as the going above and beyond and having a heart for that, you have to separate the for-profit and the non-profit part. And I would say that would be my advice.
That's great advice, actually.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with the name Kingdom Christmas Lights? It's a very unique name.
A Pastor Keith from Elevate Life Church. If you elevate your thinking, you elevate your life. Which is so true. It's all about the way you think.
I agree.
You think, be, do. But what was the question?
The name. Kingdom Christmas
Kingdom.
Lights.
Yeah. He said, how many people own their own business? And then you're like, me, I own my own business. And then it's like, it's your business, and then you give to God, right? So if you gave it to God, aren't you in your Father's business? Would you tell someone, hey, I don't say, hey, I own my own business. You say, I work in my Father's business. And so when I first started the company, I said, we work in our Father's business. So the pressure washing company was our Father's pressure washing, and I was baptizing people's and then it was like, I'm a military veteran, but I didn't want to be known for that, because there's a certain stereotype of, if you're a veteran, you say you're going to be here at 9, you show up at 9:05. The veteran doesn't do that. So I just said, I'm in my Father's business, and I'm just going to give the business to him, and whatever he says that we're going to do, and here's the plan. So I don't want to make it about me, because it ain't about me. It's Kingdom, and we're going to do Kingdom Christmas Lights, and he's going to grow this, and he's going to put all the gravitational pull from the right things and repel the things that are wrong. And that's how we started, and that was a great idea, just doing our Father's business.
You guys, now Christmas Lights has been for how many years again?
I've been doing it for 12, but Laura and I have been doing it in Houston since 2018, so is that our 8th season? She always corrects me and says, no, we've been married for 7 years. We've been in business for 8. We've been married for 7, or something like that. She always corrects me on that years, but it feels like forever, man. And I tell you, there's nothing like pulling the yoke. I feel sorry for the entrepreneurs that the wife does, or the wife or the husband or whatever. They do this job, and then the other one does this job, and they really don't work together. They work together, but they don't work together. Having a wife that you both work together at the same job and you're both pulling the yoke together, that was something I never experienced, and there's been nothing like it. I feel sorry for people who haven't experienced that. That's been the key to success for us, is both of us pulling the yoke together.
Do you think that could be a little stressful though at times, would you say?
With the wrong person. Most people can't be around each other longer than 15 minutes without fighting and pulling each other's buttons or pushing them. Laura and I were together. I mean, she's right over here. I mean, she's still right over here, everywhere and anywhere I go, and we're together all the time. It's just one of those connections that when you find the right person, you just can't get enough of each other, regardless of how many years it's been. And it's been like that. We've we've been in the bottom and we've been on the top, and no matter where we go, we're together and we're super happy. Man, can't get enough of each other.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I know we're running a little short on time, but last question for you is, so if we had a young entrepreneur that was starting up his own business venture, what are 3 tips that you would highly suggest for someone who's starting up?
No business partners.
No business partners.
Yeah, don't do any business partners. The business partners is because you're scared. You think that this is a big undertaking. I don't know if it's the fear of failure or fear of success or whatever it is, or this is just a big thing and I'm going to get rich, so I'm going to bring my friend with me, or man, I don't know, I've never done that before, but I feel like I'm more confident with you and we can be a business partner together, or there's just many different reasons that people get business partners, but as soon as you get money in the bank, people change, period. And then all of a sudden you thought you needed a business partner, you don't. You think they're going to work harder. If they have ownership, then they'll work harder, but most people, they'll say, well, I can just run the business from the beach and stuff. No business partners, dude. No one cares about your business more than you. If that's your idea, no business partners. I would start with that, because many people make that mistake and it costs them a fortune to get out of it. The only partnership you have is with your wife and your spouse. That's one. And then the other one is, you got to keep on grinding, man. You're going to hear no. It's like a deck of cards, baby. If we're looking for aces and I had 52 cards, if I flip over 4 cards, are you going to see all the 4 aces? Chances are, there's a chance you will, but more than likely not. But if you flip them all over, you will see all 4 aces. And that's what business is like. Keep going. Don't stop. It's going to get rough. Don't look at the comfort and security of when you worked at Taco Bell or when you had that decent job and you had benefits and you were working half the hours than you are now making the same money. Don't stop, man. Keep going. Chase this dream, because are you going to do it when you're 60 and 70 and 80? No. Now's your time. Now's your moment. Get off your ass and get busy. And that would be my advice for any young entrepreneur. Don't yield the right of way. Jump out there and go get it, baby. That's what life's like, isn't it? That's how you did it, bro.
My man, I did. God is good. Can't complain on that.
People flying on private jets come see you. Yeah.
We're just we're doing something that a lot of people believe in, but kind of how you said, man. At this point, where God's taking course of it, we're just doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, it's an honor, man, to be here on the American Dream. I've never seen a studio this awesome, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, doing big things.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.